Live from the Mills Fleet Farm studio, back to the KQ Morning Show.
Steve Madsen with us. How you doing, Steve?
I'm great. Tom, how are you?
Marvelous. Well, except I'm in radio. It's kind of depressing. Steve Madsen, organizer of the City Pages Beer Festival. You've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah, a long time. God, a lot of beer.
You don't look like you're a booze hound.
I try not to drink too much when I'm doing these things.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
More than 50 breweries and 200 beers. The 24th annual City Pages Beer Festival is Saturday, May 21st. This Saturday, of course. One of the oldest beer festivals in the Midwest. It features domestic, imported, craft, specialty, and microbrewed beers, including some local favorites. Bob, you were talking to me yesterday about somebody who represents
Jeff O'Brien. Do you know him?
I don't know Jeff, no.
He represents a lot of the craft beer companies and breweries in the state.
Okay.
And there's a ton of them, too.
Yeah, there's a ton. And there's many more of them every day. I mean, it's incredible, especially in Northeast Minneapolis, how many there are. So there's a lot.
Well, a lot of booze hounds in Northeast Minneapolis since I was a kid, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
You know. One thing, that culture over Northeast Minneapolis, and I grew up in East, because it literally is kind of the structure in the factories, be in the downtown area, if there is such a thing as downtown Northeast Minneapolis, kind of is. Mm-hmm. But the factories would be there, and the workers would live around the factory, and then the foreman would live, like, say, in Fridley, and then the owners of the company would live in North Oaks. Right. It was just that's how the whole thing was structured.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much with so. Not surprising. Some of the greatest bars in the city are in Northeast Minneapolis.
That's right.
And the breweries very, very wisely said, well, this is where we want to go.
Well, yeah, a lot of those buildings you were talking about have now transformed into tap rooms and that kind of thing, too. So they're, it's just got this whole new culture that's developed in Northeast.
So Steve, how did this happen?
The beer festival industry?
Well, the whole, the microbreweries and all of it, the festivals, everything.
It's one of these things that it's kind of seen this resurgence. It kind of goes up and down at times. I mean, SRO, really? Our company, has been doing beer festivals around the country for 20-some years. And the industry itself, I mean, I think it's a lot of, these guys that have been doing home brewing and that kind of thing, kind of start out at home with these ideas and trying different flavors and things like that. And people just want variety. And I think that's what a lot of this has led or come from, is just people just kind of experimenting and coming up with new ideas and that kind of thing. So people want variety,
Back in the day, and this was many, many years ago, I tried brewing my own beer and found out it was yet another thing I sucked at. So I went back to purchasing my beer, Steve.
That's a wise choice, I think.
It was for me. I just, it's got to be cool, because I do remember when I was younger, when I was a kid in North Minneapolis, some of my friends' dads did brew their own beer, and it was really good.
I got a neighbor that does the same thing. Yeah. He's thinking about taking it on the road, I guess, at some point. Oh, hopefully not in his car, but
no. By on the road, he means. I just think the whole thing is very, very cool. I just saw, as a matter of fact, the head chef at Surly was named one of the best chefs in the state of Minnesota. Yeah. So it's not just some small-time operation thing. They're doing it right, aren't they?
Well, I think a lot of these guys, too, when you go to these tap rooms and things, you want to get to know. You obviously go because of the beer, you like the beer, but you want to get to know the guy that makes the beer too, which I think is kind of the appeal of some of these tap rooms again and things like that people just, you want to get to know a little bit more about the stuff you're drinking and putting in your body and that kind of thing too. So,
God, I'm so glad in a way that I missed out on that we didn't have this going on when I was a kid, because I would have spent every day there.
Yeah.
I'd have been there every night hanging out at the brew pubs. It just seems like it's such a fun environment.
It is. Yeah. And these festivals are really fun, too. I mean, this one, we've got a great spot in West End in St. Louis Park. We've got the bars, the restaurants, the shopping, that kind of thing before and after. It's going to be, obviously, the forecast has been great for the Saturday, too.
Right.
Fun music. You got some food trucks. You've got some other activities to do when you're there. So it's just kind of a combination of a lot of fun stuff on a great day, and I mean, people are going to really have fun.
No question about it. For people who might not know, maybe like St. Paulites might not know this, but West End is right at 394 and Highway 100, the southwest corner of that intersection, and it is a great area. Really, really nice.
One thing that's great, too, is the free parking, which we just moved recently from downtown. We were by the Orpheum for years. I think it was 8 years. Mm-hmm. Just took it to West End. Due to the spot we had been on is up for development down by the Orpheum.
Right.
And so we just tried to find a new spot, and this one came up, and it's been great so far. So I think people are going to really enjoy it.
There's got to be, 5-6 layers of parking in just that one ramp.
At least, yeah. And then you've got, there's some surface lots around there, too, and that kind of thing. So I think it'll be perfect for this. It'll be good.
So now where will you actually be set up? Because I spend a lot of time when we go go out to dinner or go to a movie or whatever at West End, is it going to be right on that main strip there?
You know, we're kind of on the south end of the West End shopping area. So we've got the kind of surface parking lots, Gamble Drive, which the city of St. Louis Park is now kind of calling that their event space. So they're going to shut that area down. And so we'll have the street closed, the parking lots there, is a little room to spread out, and it should be good.
So how many, this might be an impossible guess, I don't know, how many new startups are there every year?
You know, I don't know the exact number. And honestly, I think it sounds like an exaggeration, but I think it's in the state of Minnesota alone, I think there's 8 to 10 every year for the last about 5 to 10 years. So it's a staggering number how many of them are popping up. And a lot of them are great products, too. I mean, that's what these festivals are about, is to come down, try these things. Liquor store, you see the price tag on some of these craft beers. This is a great spot to come out, try them out, see what you like before you dropped your, $15 on a six-packs kind of thing in some of these cases. So.
And that makes total sense to me, because I remember I used to love drinking. When I used to drink beer back in the old days, it was wonderful for me because I could drink about 2 cases of beer and never get hammered.
Yeah.
I just get this nice kind of mellow deal going with beer drinking. It's that kind of beverage for me. And it differs by person, whether it's brewed, distilled, or fermented.
Yep.
It affects different people in different ways. Like with me, if it's distilled, I will act like a psycho.
And some of these craft beers, they have alcohol content that are 8, 9, 10%. So you got to be careful with what you're drinking, too, and how much you've had of these things, too. So.
What did we, John, we were just talking about a beer and a game show.
Yeah, yesterday's game show, it's, what is it?
17% alcohol.
17%.
Oh, my God.
That's crazy.
Champagne yeast, they get the content.
Wow. That's exactly right. But the opportunity these days, because back when I was a kid, you would have these different beers and you would try them. And the fascination then, because this wonderful culture that's built up around microbreweries now. Back then it was, if I could only get my hands on a case of Coors beer.
Right.
Because it wasn't sold here.
Right.
Olympia was another one. And it turned out to be this watered down crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just not very good beer.
Yeah.
But a lot of great local breweries, and that's the other thing I should mention to people who, might not be from the area that are listening, whether it was the Schmidt Brewery over in St. Paul, the Hams Brewery in St. Paul, Grain Belt Brewery over in Northeast Minneapolis. Right. Wonderful local beers.
Yep.
A lot of them. And a very proud tradition of brewing our own beer in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
So it's not something that just popped up out of nowhere. There's a long,
great history.
Couple hundred years.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just very, very cool.
My dad would be surprised. He used to drink the beer that was the white can with the word beer printed on it in black letters. Remember that?
Right. Yeah. Well, see, there you go. Well, we just went and ate at the Red Stag, and they have every empty beer can up along these shelves on the walls. But that's part of it for me. Is I just had a great memory. John Hines, a radio guy, been my friend forever.
Yeah.
John and I went to breakfast last weekend at Dusty's Dagos. And by the way, it's called Dusty's Dagos. It says right on the sign, Dusty's Dagos. So, Bob, don't take offense.
None at all.
Even though you are a Dago. But anyway, but sitting there across the street from what used to be the Grain Belt Brewery and having the Dago, which is what the name of the sandwich is, at Dusty's, it was a great time. We had just a ball. And that's, I think, the beer is important, but the surroundings and the atmosphere is just so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So how'd you get involved in all of this?
It's a funny story. The company that I'm with is SRO Productions, and we produce a lot of different events in town and festivals and things like that.
Right.
And I knew somebody. I went to high school with a girl who used to work there. She got me the job 20-some years ago when I came to town. And SRO kind of went from working on concerts and that kind of thing into more special events. And then the beer industry kind of took off with the craft brewery festival in Colorado, and we kind of copied that model and brought it to Minnesota 24 years ago, and here is the City Pages Beer Festival this weekend after 24 years of going strong with it. So
what's really cool for me is it's the only time of the year that City Pages will even mention my name.
You got a checkered past with those guys, don't you?
Yeah, I really kind of do. I don't know what the hell I ever did to them, but it's one of the. I do love that though when they do, and I mean this in a joking manner, but I do find it funny when they do the best radio and it's like some 5-watt publicly funded thing. I'm like, really? That's the best you could come up with? But it's really cool to talk about the City Pages Beer Festival. We always do every year.
Yeah.
And I don't, hey, look, their job is their job. So It's just really cool to be involved in the City Pages Beer Festival. And again, it's at the West End this year in St. Louis Park for, again, the St. Paulites or people coming from Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
It is right there at the corner of 394 and Highway 100 on the southwest corner. It's a great area. There's tons of parking, tons of room. It's not a deal where you're going to show up and be jammed all in together.
No.
Which I'm not a fan of.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
You got room to move.
Exactly. You
thing.
can spread out a little bit, do some dancing. We got a great band, too, so come on down.
What are the numbers of people that show up on it?
This one's only about 3,000 people. Some of them,
3,000?
Some of these festivals are huge. They get, 8,000, 10,000 people at them, and it is really hard to, get the beer you want to try because the lines are so long. But this one won't be too bad. So
Plus, you get 10,000 people. The odds are the numbers go up on pains in the ass showing up. You know what I'm saying? How long does it take you to set up this festival?
It's kind of funny. We start building it that morning. I mean, we're going to build it that morning, take it down that night.
Do you ever work? Honest to God, you work at a beer festival.
It's only one day's worth of work, right?
That's it. Just one day of work. That's the whole. Did you ever plan on getting a real job?
My parents ask me that all the time. You went to college for this? Yeah, right.
And the answer is no. Where'd you go to college?
Iowa State.
I went to Iowa State.
Yeah, ran for the nearest big city after graduation, so here I am.
Well, few beers consumed at Iowa State.
Yeah, we had a few down there.
There's nothing wrong. Like I said, it's a great, and I know the word culture is overused, but that's what it is. It's the culture of beer in the Midwest, and certainly in the state of Minnesota and right here in the Twin Cities. It's always been around. My friends, I had several friends, fathers who worked at the Grain Belt Brewery, the Hams Brewery over in St. Paul, the Schmidt, we had mentioned earlier. It's just beer is part of Minnesota. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it really is.
No question. You go to a ball game now. Although I will tell you this, Steve. A couple of years ago, I went to a Viking game. I brought 3 guests, my son-in-law, his twin brother, and a friend of theirs. We're 4 of us sitting and watching the game. I bought 3 rounds of beer, 12 beers, $120.
Oh.
It's like, what the hell? 12 cans of Miller Lite.
Yep.
$120.
Best tasting Miller Lite you probably ever had.
Actually, I was very, very bitter about it. Look at Compton shaking his head. What are you shaking your head about it?
That is too much money, man.
It's a lot of dough, but it's $10 a beer now.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's how much it is. Well, with the tip, I think it's $9 a beer, and then if you tip them, it's $10.
Sure.
Yep.
I think that's how it works out.
How many cases is that? About 4, 5 of that actual beer?
I mean, if you buy,
if you just bought cases.
I don't know how much a case of beer is now.
Yeah, about $20.
About $20.
Is it $20?
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, Steve, there was a beer called Fox Deluxe from Wisconsin, the Fox River in Wisconsin.
I don't think that one's still around.
2 cases for $5,
oh, boy.
brother.
Nice.
It was.
Spend the rest of the day in the bathroom, or no?
You got it.
Yeah.
That's exactly very good, Steve. See, now Steve knows his beer. We're just here to prove it. No, it was. John, was that gone by the time you were around?
Yeah.
Pfeiffer? Was that the beer of
that was it. Or Olympia was a cheap beer.
Yep.
It's the water.
And it's all water.
Yeah.
By the way. It's the water, all right, because it's all water. That's just how it is. Also, when I was a kid, the malt liquor was a big hit in North Minneapolis, where I grew up. It just never cared for the taste of it.
Not a lot of that at the beer festival, the malt liquor.
No, I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of malt liquor at the beer festival. I never liked it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell the difference is. The malt content, I guess,
Yeah, I don't know either on that.
would be indicative of why they called it that. But
The alcohol level's a little higher in those, too, I think.
it is,
Yeah.
Which is the only reason I drank.
Yeah.
Get that.
More bang for your buck.
Get more bang for your buck, exactly. It's just like I said, it's a lot of fun. How do people figure out their day? Now, so when does it start first?
So it's Saturday. If you buy a VIP ticket, you get it at 4:30. General admission's at 5. You can buy tickets online at it's beerfest.citypages.com.
Okay.
I think we're even doing a $5 off ticket discount for KQ listeners. If you type in KQRS, 92 KQRS on the website, they'll give you $5 off the GA ticket. Come on down. There's plenty to do, and it'll be fun.
So they come in at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Or 4:30 if
Yep.
they have the advance ticket. You said there's music.
Yep, there's live music, a band called Free and Easy, and we've also got the Brian Brew Irish Pipe Band wandering around.
Oh, that's always a good idea.
If you haven't partied with the bagpipers, you haven't lived. Come on down.
Absolutely. There's no question
There you go.
about it. So how long does it run?
It's 4 hours basically, so it's 5 to 9.
5 to 9.
Yep.
Well, so that's not bad at all.
Yep. And it's you can come in there, sample plenty of beers in that time frame, and then walk down the street a little bit to the restaurants and bars at West End and get something to eat afterwards. And
right, and it's not expensive at all.
No. I mean, the $30 ticket. I mean, you were just talking about the price of beers. I mean, for $30, you can sample up to 200 different beers if you wanted to do that. If you're able to do that, we advise you not to do that many, but you can certainly come in there and sample as much as you want and have fun. And
we advise that you come in and sample 200 beers, ladies and gentlemen. We'd appreciate it. But, that's something I probably would have done when I was in my 20s.
In your young and foolish days?
My young and foolish days. It's absolutely true. Now, I love the whole idea. And it says summer.
Yeah.
I mean, the Beer Fest, City Pages
kind
Beer
of the
Fest.
kickoff, yeah.
It's the kickoff of summer.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Steve, you're far too nice a guy.
I'll try not to be next time.
Yeah, well, next time you come in, if you could be kind of a jerk, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great talking to you. City Pages Beer Festival is this Saturday, West End. You're going to love the West End. You're going to love the Beer Festival, as a matter of fact. And I love City Pages. I'd like to point that out. I love Steve goes, you've had kind of checkered past with them. I don't know how checkered it was. It was just all one.
It was all one color.
It was all one color. That was the deal.